As I promised in my updated Soundpeats Truengine 3SE review, I let you pick which earbuds you want to see compared. And so I've gathered everything into one video here. So today we're going to answer the question, which one is the right choice for you? Hit the thumbs up if you're excited and let's get started right now. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to my Soundpeats Truengine 3SE comparison video. As the title suggests, today I'll mainly focus on the sound quality part because everything else I've discussed in its full review, and compare this also to the FIIL T1 Lite, Soundpeats Sonic, there's Sonic Pro as well, and this Edifier I mentioned is the TWS1 Pro, which is highly regarded for its sound quality. And also last but not least, this is not exactly a $50 earbuds, but because you asked for it, we're gonna compare the 3SE to the H1 and see which one should you really get. As a quick note, there will be no latency or mic test today. I'll only discuss the sound differences. Again, this is a complimentary video for the full reviews that I've done, and also I'll tell you a little bit of the general plus and minuses of each earbuds here. So when you decide on a specific earbuds, I recommend you watch the full review. I'll leave the links down below, and also if you want to help me support the channel, please use the affiliate links there too. You just have to click through it every time you buy anything, and I will get a small commission at no extra cost to you. Thank you very much, and yeah, I guess you know that I always give you my own honest opinion, right? Full disclosure is down in the description. With that said, let's get to the comparison now, and I'm gonna start with the most requested one first. This is the Truengine 3SE versus the FIIL T1 Lite. If you ask me, which one is better? To be honest, I don't know myself. I can't even decide. I mean, both are great in their own ways. It's almost like the Soundpeats H1 versus FIIL T1 Pro situation, only this time it's cheaper. So with the Soundpeats, you get aptX adaptive and a better warranty support, which is very important, because with the FIIL, it's basically non-existent. It's a product intended for the Chinese market. The box and voice prompts are all in Mandarin, but it's got app support and full IPX7 waterproofing, so it's not without its advantages. But if we're talking about sound quality, the amount of detail, the instrument separation, the sound staging is practically on par between the two, which basically reads both of them stand at the very top of the pack side by side. A general rule of thumb here is the Soundpeats lean towards the warmer treble and a punchier bass, whereas on the FIIL side they still have a strong and dynamic bass, but it's kept more naturally with a clearer, more focus on that airy treble. I believe you'll love the sound no matter which one you get here, but let's dive a bit deeper with some songs that you can listen by yourself. Starting with a pop country song, Sparks Fly by Taylor Swift. Both performs beautifully here. I noticed that the 3SE brings more mid-presence, so you'll hear the bass guitar, the vocals, the electric guitar, and also the snare hits all have more body to them, like they sound fuller. Bass kicks are slightly more punchy than the FIIL, and trebles are very clear without ever sounding harsh. It's honestly a great sound. The FIIL T1 Lite, on the other hand, brings more air and sense of space, so the female vocals shine through more clearly, the electric guitar and cymbals are put more in focus, they are clearer, still not exceedingly bright, which is good, and combined with the punchy bass, it's an overall more lively sound in my opinion. Keep in mind that I usually prefer more clarity in the treble, which is right up FIIL's alley, but really I have no problem picking the 3SE in this case. The extra bass boost without compromising vocal clarity is just great for pop songs, and they are so much fun to listen to. Okay, moving on to the next genre, I'm going to compare a J-rock song, Thought Crime by Yorushika. Here the 3SE with its warmer sound is where I draw the line. It's almost like you're enjoying more of the instruments and less about the vocals. The bass, the drum hits, the guitars, they are more prominent in the mix, and don't get me wrong, they are very fun. A big part of why I love Yoshika so much, but I just can't resist the vocal clarity offered by the FIIL T1 Lite. This thing makes it feel like a vocal first sound now. It's front and center, it sounds clearer and more intimate, and the dynamic of the song is still very much present. The always changing bass lines, the punchy drum kicks are just as prominent in the mix, complemented with the keyboard as well as the cymbal that hits clearer. I think this is an easy one. If you listen to a lot of rock songs, not only Japanese ones, FIIL is the way to go. Lastly, you know what the Soundpeats 3SE is going to be good at. It's hip-hop, it's rap, it's EDM songs. And I feel it coming by the weekend. The FIIL has decent low-end punch, but it just doesn't match the grunt, the weighty feeling, and the power of the 3SE. The bass lines make your head move to the beat in no time. The vocals sound just as clear without ever being harsh. It's the type of sound that you can listen, pump up the volume to max without feeling fatigued too quickly due to the piercing treble. And yeah, I think it's really clear who the winner is here. Get the 3SE if you listen to a lot of beat-driven songs. Now, if you notice the volume bar on these screenshots, the FIIL T1 Lite goes loud. Not that I think anyone will complain on the 3SE, but in terms of sheer volume, this is one of the loudest wireless earbuds I've got in my recommendation. Also, you've got app support with the FIIL, and there you can change the EQ to bass boost or treble. The thing is, it's not really that good. The FIIL T1 Pro is better. So that's why I only stick to the default EQ for comparison here, and I recommend you to do so. It's a nice to have, but it's not something that would make you pick the FIIL instead of the 3SE. Okay, now we're done with the FIIL T1 Lite comparison. Let's tackle the next big question. Should you get the Soundpeats Truengine 3SE, or is it worth spending almost double for the Soundpeats H1 now that we can actually buy it in the marketplace? Well, I've said this before and I'll repeat it again. I find it hard to justify the upgrade, and the QCC3040 chip update is the reason why. This chip brings feature parity between the two. You've got dual mode Bluetooth, aptX adaptive, and gaming mode. The only difference now is wireless charging on the H1 case, a different silver colored look, and most importantly, the driver setup, which is now comprised of one bigger dynamic driver for even more bass oomph and a balanced armature for a more detailed treble and upper mid response. But is it any better though? At least I do think so. And to show you exactly that, I'll pick Always by Bon Jovi for the comparison. This is a song that I know very well benefits from an added bass boost while still relying heavily on treble because it's a rock song in its roots. So the H1 here has a significantly more punchy bass kicks. Every thump is more satisfying than ever with slight improvements in the upper end. So things like cymbal and hi-hat sound cleaner on the H1, but most importantly, it gives a much needed boost of clarity into the vocals. That basically addresses the shortcoming on the 3SE in rock songs. Vocals sound great now, and should you listen to pop, hip-hop, or EDM, the low end will be even more satisfying than the 3SE. There's just something so addictive to the H1 sound, and I really think it is an objectively better sound. But I can't say for sure if you should spend almost double the price just for that. The 3SE will be plenty enough for most. It has the better price to performance ratio, but this time I'll let your wallet do the talking. Alright, now with the big boys out of the way, let's tackle some of the smaller comparisons here. And coming at number 1, we have the Soundpeats Sonic that offers a totally different sound from the 3SE. No longer you get a balanced tuning, you're now getting a very V-shaped curve with full-on sub-in-your-head bass response, so it's even boomier than the H1, which is already quite on the edge with very recessed mids and a bright treble. It's catering to the bass heads out there. If you listen to a lot of EDM, this one is a no-brainer. The only possible deal breaker is the volume, because it's on the lower side similar to the cheaper Halo. So you know if you should get the Sonic or not. The treble might also get harsh sometimes, but overall this is a great earbuds. no question. Moving on to number 2, despite sharing the same name and design, the Soundpeats Sonic Pro sounds totally different from everything else coming from the company. It's something that I call a natural sounding mid-forward EQ that focuses on the vocals. So you get a very prominent, very in-your-face vocals with everything else backing up around it. No bass will sound boomy, no treble will sound harsh. It's a sound that would fit a lot of genres. Volume is on par with the 3SE now, and I think the only problem here is that it doesn't really impress at first listen, but only after a while you'll start to appreciate the sound signature. So get this if you listen to a lot of genre variations. Okay. Up until this point, I've explained why I put all these earbuds the way they are on this graph. But there's one more earbuds I wanted to add here, and that is the Edifier TWS1 Pro. I was surprised by how bright sounding it is, even more so than the FIIL. But it's another heavy V-shaped tuning, so not only the treble, the bass is also almost at the level of the 3SE. And how do they compare? Well, I think the perfect song here is Enter Sandman by Metallica. Right off the bat, you can hear the hint of brightness from the snare hits, and once the cymbal comes in, it's like the earbuds have no problem giving you all the pierciness it can give. And I tell you, it is the satisfying kind, not the annoying one. I'm still on the fence about it though, because mostly I worry when I increase the volume it will be fatiguing really quickly, and also this goes very loud. But as far as the mids is concerned, the vocals and instruments all has that upper mid energy, which makes it sound clearer and more open. Again, something that I prefer over the warmer 3SE sound here. And also on the bass side, the Edifier hits just as deep, it is just as powerful. So you still get that rumbly echo around every drum hit and guitar chug. That's a stark difference from the 3SE that rolls off the treble, keeps it from being piercing at all times, and focuses the energy on the central mids to the lower end. Which brings us to my final question. Do you absolutely love or hate boosted treble response? For me, the FIIL T1 Lite hits the right balance, but if you like more, get the Edifier. If you like it less, then the 3SE is for you. So yeah, that's all I can say for the Edifier. I'll talk more about it in its full review. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss the upload, and I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try my best to answer them. We could talk more in Instagram and Twitter, and all helpful links are down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.